Thanks Ivan and Danielle. Hello and welcome to Western Perspective. I'm Nelson Liu. Thanks for joining us. On this week's program, drug usage has always been a concern in Australia, but there are growing fears about increasing methamphetamine usage and supply channels in WA's communities. Increasing drug busts and seizures locally in the past year have resulted in heightened concerns and new state government measures to combat methamphetamine use and trade in WA. So are current measures enough to prevent usage, supply and trade, or could more be done to stop the flow of meth into our local communities? We examined the battle against meth and discovered the effect it's having on the drug trade in WA. This is what the haul in a drug raid looks like. Drugs such as methamphetamine becoming more common in Perth suburbs, affecting young people's lives in Western Australian communities. But with increasing drug seizures and new measures to crack down on supply, there are concerns WA's communities are becoming a hotspot for drug addiction.
I think it would concern any parent, any prominent parent. It would concern any good community about the easy access to drugs of that nature.
John Gillespie is the head of WA's police and community youth centres. He's concerned about the easy access to drugs like meth in Western Australia, particularly online, which has contributed to the increase in use.
We've got plenty of Wi-Fi at most locations around the state, in most areas. People find communicating and making that type of order over the internet very, very easy.
He's also worried about young people turning to crime to pay for their habit.
For instance, for people to feed their habit, so to speak, in terms of meth or ice, we had a recent break-in at Gosnell's PCYC, one of our programs there, and that was a result of people trying to stole property, and of course on-sold that property to get money to pay for their habit.
That habit is fed by both a local and international supply, with Asia a primary meth source over local sources for WA users.
Most of the amphetamine that's used in Australia and Western Australia comes in from China and other places in Southeast Asia. Small amounts are made in Western Australia, small amounts of precursors are here, but much larger amounts are imported in a variety of different ways.
It's resulted in new state government measures to crack down on use and importation, including increased stop and search powers for police in regional WA. A joint operation crime task force has also been established to curb the supply of meth into the state.
We work very closely with the AFP, and the AFP work very closely with police forces in other countries and Interpol in trying to gather intelligence about supply lines, where drugs might come from, where they're being manufactured.
Addicted users will also be getting some help in this year's state budget, with the government providing $15 million for meth rehabilitation. But despite attempts to slow the influx of drugs into WA, there aren't enough measures raising awareness and increasing support for users.
More needs to be done in therapy, more needs to be done in education, more needs to be done in prevention to reduce demand for the drug. That's not to say police won't continue to interrupt supply, they have to do that. But a lot more work has to be done on what I would call the proactive end of the spectrum.
And John says education is the key to understanding the effect of meth in the community.
It comes back to education, back in the schools at an early age, but more importantly too, it comes back to family values as well. You see that a lot more people are becoming isolated. They tend to have their own communication. I think what needs to really happen is there has to be a really concerted education to sensitise people to.
And that's all the time we have for this week. Until next time, bye for now.